In this video, we're going to go over in much more detail AI literacy. This is a foundational aspect of understanding AI, specifically dealing with the different skills and mindsets that we all have to have in developing AI literacy. But we're going to talk about how this also applies directly with education. This is extremely important and a vital thing that we need to develop. And it's not just me saying this or other people in academia. This comes from multiple reports throughout the world, from the EU, from the United States, many different other countries, from the World Economic Forum, from business reports, from defense reports, all talking about the necessity of everyone developing AI literacy skills in order to be able to function in a world that has become much more integrated with AI. And this is only going to continue to escalate. So that's why we really need to fully understand AI literacy for ourselves as faculty so that then we can then maximize the development of AI literacy for our students. AI literacy is broken up into 4 different main sections: awareness, capability, knowledge, as well as critical thinking. Each of these concepts or aspects are extremely important in their own, but putting it all together really helps to fully understand AI literacy as a whole. The first one, awareness. So this deals in understanding that AI is all around us. It is affecting us in a multiple of different ways. And so that is increasingly affecting society through its different aspects of connecting with the world around us. One simple example is simply the different types of AI that are out there. So the generative AI, such as Chat GPT, as well as Google Bard, Bing AI chat, these are all different free, accessible AIs that are out there. And these are generally referred to as generative AI, but they're being integrated not only in search engines, but also in things like Microsoft Office, Gmail, Google Documents, all sorts of different components. And that's going to escalate to many, many other online resources that are going to have AI components. Another aspect would be gaming. Students now, many of them, a majority of them actually play games. They do this not only to relax or to escape, but also for social interaction. Gaming now has become very social. So this is an important thing to understand, that their social life within gaming is now also being affected with AI integration. Other things like job recruitment. HireVue is just an example of many different companies that are now creating an aspect of AI interviews. So an AI would actually conduct the interview, and they would be evaluating the student's ability to answer enthusiastically, and the way that they formulate a response. The AI would be able to evaluate how well they speak, how well they formulate both their verbal and nonverbal expressions. All of that would come across and be evaluated by the AI. Other things such as dating apps, which is becoming more and more popular, again, they use an AI component, so that is affecting how people are getting matched up. It's affecting society in a major way. And then, of course, social media. Social media is a major component in that this is where a majority of people now are getting news and information. And so if the AI is controlling that, then it can silo people and getting specific type of information as opposed to the complete story. Another aspect here deals with capability. So capability encompasses using the right type of AI. As mentioned before, there's many different types of AI. The one that we're mainly going to be talking about deals with generative AI, so such as Chat GPT, in that we can pose it a question and it will give us a text response. That text response could be an answer to a question or the creation of text in many different ways. Along with that, another type of generative AI would be something like Stable Diffusion, in that we could give it a text prompt and then it could give us an actual image as a response. Another type of AI would be Wolfram Alpha. So this is an AI that's specifically designed for math. Although ChatGPT, Google Bard, Microsoft Bing, they can do some math, Wolfram Alpha is specifically designed to do advanced level math. So again, being able to understand this and use the right type of AI for the job is another enhancement to the capability. The other very important thing to realize here is that there are limitations. So what that means is that an AI isn't perfect. And it's very important for everyone to understand that an AI isn't sentient in any way. It doesn't have a consciousness. It's simply using an advanced algorithm to do predictive analysis as far as what would be the correct next word. So in answering your question and creating text content, in going through in the production, it is simply doing predictive analysis. Now, this is advanced predictive analysis in order to complete sentences, write an essay for you, all these things, but it doesn't fully understand what it's saying because, again, it's using this type of generative analysis of the text. So it's been pre-trained on a majority of the internet, lots of the internet, many books, lots of parts of Wikipedia, many different forums. So it has a huge, vast bit of information that's been trained on so that it can access all of that to then give you a response that is a very good response, especially more when we talk about how to develop the better response. But that's what it's doing. So in doing that, though, there are many limitations. If you're using the free version of Chat GPT, as of right now, it's only trained up to 2021. That's one aspect. The other aspect is that even if it's before that, it doesn't matter what AI you're using, it's not going to be perfect. It gives information as correctly as possible. And many times, often, it will be fully correct. But yet we can't be fully reliant on it. We have to know that there are limitations and it isn't perfect. So it's very important that we always analyze the information that we receive. So it's not perfect. There are limitations. There are different aspects associated with it that we'll talk about. But it's very important to understand that it isn't perfect and it isn't conscious in any way. From here, it's also very important to understand that a major part of capability, meaning our capability to use the AI, deals with understanding how to best prompt the AI. So the way that this is usually referred to is as prompt engineering. So this means that a student has added capability in being able to interact with the AI. And we'll address this here in 1 second. Another component dealing with AI is knowledge. So this is knowledge that all have access, students as well as instructors, as well as governments from all over the world, businesses, competing businesses. It's important to understand that now, due to AIs being freely available, every person now has access to it. And this is an important part of understanding how this is affecting society, but we need to understand that this is now freely available to everyone. Along with that, we need to understand our personal data. What's going on with our personal data? How safe is my information? How will my information be used? This is an important thing that we need to know. So it's important that whichever AI you're using, because there are many types, we talked about 3 of them, but there are many other types. So it's very important that we read the fine print. We need to look at that user agreement whenever we create an account or use an AI system. We need to read and see how is the information being used. How safe is my information? Will it be resold? Will it be kept? Will it be used for training? These are key things to understand. Chat GPT is one that I generally recommend because they state that they're not going to resell your information. They also state that the information that they use when you use their system is mainly training data, but it's focused more on the interaction as opposed to the actual data that you submit. Additionally, with Chat GPT, you're allowed to go in and delete previous conversations and delete your entire history if you'd like. AI terms. It's also important to understand AI terms so that we can better comprehend what's going on with AI, with different AI developments, and just to continue to increase our understanding of AI in general. Some terms such as generative AI, which I talked about before, deals with the type of AI that can take input in conversational English and then transform it into something else, such as text or images or video and audio, all sorts of developments in that end. Another one would be natural language processing, NLP. This is what ChatGPT uses, natural language processing, in order to understand your prompt. Because again, ChatGPT and these AIs that we're talking about with generative AI, you don't need to have advanced coding skills. You can simply give it a prompt in plain English. In the future, you'll simply be able to talk into it as well. So this is all processing natural language so that it can understand, put it into a specific command so that then it can give you a response. So NLP, narrow AI, general AI, and super AI. These are all different levels of artificial intelligence. With narrow AI, it's talking about being able to do one specific task very well. So Chat GPT would be an example of this in that it can use NLP in order to give a response to a specific question that's being given. So this is generally what it's doing. Although it can do this in many different ways, it's still generally classified as narrow AI. With general AI, this means that the AI is capable of doing multiple things on the same level as a human. So this would be that it could accomplish multiple different aspects. One AI could do many different things, again, at the level of a human intelligence. With super AI, this would be the next step. So this would be that it could do virtually everything at a level much higher than a human. So it would be a super intelligence, a super artificial intelligence. A very important part of this AI literacy would be in AI created content, meaning the type of content that an artificial intelligence could create. So an example of this would be deep fakes. So both of these images are photorealistic images, but they are completely made up. The one on the left is a picture of President Putin, and he's kneeling down in front of the Chinese president. So this was a made up image. This comes from a series of images that were real, that were taken when there was a conference between the two, but then someone used an AI to, from those images, create a new image, an AI image, a deep fake that shows the president kneeling like this. So this was done in a way to try to make the President Putin look bad. And again, this could have major effects on people, changing the way that society views someone, or if there was an election come up, it could affect elections. So this is important to keep in mind. In the same way, the picture on the right, this is a picture of the French president during some riots that occurred recently in France. This is another, again, deep fake. It's an image that's completely made up, but it looks very realistic. This actually got a lot of people thinking that it was real. So people expressed concern, worry, outrage about the security. But again, this was made up. This was a completely made up image. But you can see how these type of images could definitely affect people's emotions, their attitudes, and then their decisions and their actions. So that's why this is an extremely important issue to address. Even congressional reports have come out talking about how deep fakes can definitely affect national security. In fact, recently there was an image, a deep fake that came out that dealt with, and it was an image of an explosion that occurred near the Pentagon in the United States. Completely fake image, but it seemed realistic enough, so it actually affected the markets. It affected the stock market. So you can see how even though these images are fake, there are still many people that are being affected by them. So that's why it's extremely important for us to develop this type of AI literacy within our students. And the final one, very important, deals with critical thinking. A great definition for critical thinking is a skill and mindset of having a purposeful, mindful awareness of what is happening, of asking questions and actively listening, to incorporate other viewpoints along with evidence before using your own thoughts, beliefs, and creativity to make a decision and choose an action. Some key parts to this are the fact that critical thinking is a skill and a mindset. So it isn't just some specific tool of thinking, but it goes beyond that, and that yes, it's a skill, but it also is a mindset that we need to continually have in order to be able to spot deep fakes, to even be thinking that, hey, this could be fake. So having this type of critical awareness that goes along with this. Additionally, different aspects are the importance of asking questions, of ensuring that there's evidence. This news source is saying this. Is there other news sources that are saying this? Is there research to back this up? And then using that evidence before making an actual decision on your own. And then also definitely before spreading the information as well. With this critical thinking, a major aspect of this also deals with understanding the AI. What methods and data sources is the AI using? Is it stuff all over the internet that it's been trained on? Well, if it is, then we know that bias exists on the internet. So that would lead us to believe that, hey, there's probably going to be some bias within AI. Additionally, we need to think internationally. Has it been trained only in English resources? Has it been trained only on Western information? This would affect the results that the AI would then provide. Guardrails. Most AIs that are publicly available have guardrails that have been imposed. So that means that the left and right limit of the answer is strategically created so as not to offend anyone, so as to be more middle ground. But in putting in those guardrails, this could affect the results. So we might not be getting a complete picture, or we might not be getting the information that we're truly looking for because it's being protected by guardrails. And then along with that is bias and ethical concerns. Again, where did the information come from? Was it legal for them to use that information that it was trained on? Are we using the AI ethically? Are we using too much energy? Are there climate considerations? Does everyone have access? Although it is free, does everyone have computer access, internet access to be able to use this to be that much more effective? So these are all different ethical aspects that need to be considered as well. These 4 components of AI literacy are extremely important that all students really need to develop. One more thing that I want to cover within capability deals with this prompt engineering aspect. In order to develop our capability and be able to really use AI, we need to have advanced prompt engineering. So what does that mean? Well, a prompt is simply a question, a statement, a command, or other stimulus used to engage the AI system to obtain some sort of result response. As an example, a simple prompt would simply be, give me feedback on my writing. This would give some general good feedback, but it wouldn't be specific enough to give us the exact type of information that we're looking for. So another example, a more advanced example, would be something like, please provide me with professional feedback on the following text without rewriting it. I'm specifically looking for suggestions to enhance its composition, clarity, and structure. As a scientific journal article reviewer, your insights into the effective writing techniques and adherence to scholarly standards would be invaluable. Your feedback will greatly assist me in refining my writing. Notice the major difference here. The major difference is that we used a prompt formula. So a prompt formula breaks it down into tasks, which is the job mission, instruction, specific guidance on what it is to do, context, meaning the role persona that we want the AI to assume, reasons that will help the AI to understand why it's giving you this type of result, clarification, giving the AI an opportunity to ask questions, and then refining, meaning modifying, rewriting, or altering the output. Because again, this is a conversation that we're having with the AI, so we could have multiple prompts. So let's break down what we just went over as far as the example. So here's the example as far as the more advanced prompt that has all these different components. So the task here would be to provide me with a professional feedback on the following text without rewriting it. So that's the specific task that we want to do. Now, it is a good idea to put please in front of it because the prompts tend to work better because what we're trying to do is have a conversation with the AI. Using a word like please is more conversational. That's why it tends to enhance the overall prompt. Instruction. The instruction here is that we want suggestions to enhance composition, clarity, and structure. So those are the specific things that we're looking for. So now we're giving more specifics to the task at hand. Now the context here is we want the AI to assume the role of a scientific journal article reviewer. That's the viewpoint that we want the AI to have in order to give us the response. Some reasons here are that we want effective writing techniques and adherence to scholarly standards, and the feedback is going to assist in refining the writing. Clarification question is, do you understand? And then, of course, we can refine with ongoing prompts. By doing this, we'll get a much better response, a response that's more tailored to exactly what we're looking for. Notice the specific instruction, the context, the reasons. All of this comes together to give us that better response so that we can save time and use AI more effectively. In doing this, there are multiple of skills that we need to develop within ourselves and students in order to be a better prompter. Things like grammar, vocabulary, logic are all important things that are needed. Patience, persistence, analytical skills, so it all help in developing the prompt. Problem-solving skills, attention to detail. If we modify the prompt in a small way, it can change the way that the AI interprets it. Creative thinking, critical thinking, trying to understand, well, how can we put this prompt together to best address the question that we have? Formulation, understanding of the AI. Knowing AI limitations, data sources, ability to understand accuracy. Here's a key thing to really make sure that everyone understands is that the more that someone knows about a particular field or subject, the better questions that they'll be able to ask to develop the best prompts, which equal the best results. So it isn't this matter of AI is going to solve everything for us and we don't need to know anything. No, the more that we know and the better that we are within our fields, the better we'll be able to ask questions, which will then lead to better prompts, which would be better results. Prompt resources. There are many different resources, but the best thing to do is to practice, to gain experience. Go through yourself, enter prompts, modify the prompts, see the type of responses you get, see what happens if you change a word or reorder the question in some way, because it'll affect the way that the AI interprets it. So the very best thing you can do is to practice with it and gain more experience. Useful AI prompts. There's a Center for Teaching and Learning handout that has this. So that's been made available to everyone. It's on our Facebook page as well as on our regular website. Awesome Chat GPT prompts. Again, this is a resource. There's another online resource, more online resources available. This last resource here, Midjourney Prompt Helper, this is a resource that will help you to develop prompts if you wanted to use it with an AI that will take a prompt and create an image for you. So again, there's prompts that can be used for text to image, text to audio, text to video, all sorts of things. There's plenty of free resources, but again, experiment with it, practice with it, and you'll become that much better. Those are the main aspects of AI literacy. We covered over the main sections, and then we also went in deeper with prompt engineering to develop your capabilities. Again, I have to reiterate that this is extremely important, that we must develop this within ourselves so that we can develop it within our students. Students are already graduating, already going to job interviews, and are already being asked, tell me about your experience in using AI. Tell me about your experience in being able to use this type of program. How can you use AI within our workplace to enhance our efficiency? This is what students are being asked right now. So if we don't develop AI literacy in our students right now, then we're setting them up for failure as opposed to setting them up for success, which is what we really need to do. But in order to do that, we have to develop these skills within ourselves and then look to integrate these skills within the coursework itself, within the curriculum, within the student learning objectives. So this is a task that we need to do, to look at different ways to integrate and then to maximize those skills development for our students. Look through the other videos that we've made available that will help you with this process, using the share technique to redesign assignments and assessments, using AI for course development, all sorts of different aspects, how AI could be used with instructional design to help overall with teaching and learning.